line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 In love with the ride. Burning rubber smells real nice. Fuel it up once or twice. Come on, fast is the way to drive. Crowds all on their feet. Not one bothered by the heat. Imagine them in the driver's seat. Checkered flag would be sweet. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Everybody get ready. On your feet. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Crank it up. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. 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 Crank it up. Finger to the sky and a green light shining bright. The only thing I have in mind is the finish line. Check the radio, pit crew is far from slow. The lights no longer yellow. Ready, steady, go. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing. Crank it up. Oh, it's racing.
Anybody feel like kicking a little old school? Hi again, everyone, and welcome back here to PTM Racing TV live here today at Sonoma Raceway. And tonight, for the first time in a while, we're going to see Sonoma Raceway hold the Next Gen Cup Series out on the track as Joe Six-Pack Racing League presented the Old School Throwback Sunday here at Sonoma Raceway. Hi again, everyone, I am the Crusader Christian Shriver. Welcome back to the show. As always, we're prepared to go to battle here and to see the hard racing that these drivers will always put on for a show. It's a solid lineup of some of the best and the brightest young and future stars of our generations now here live, ready to go at it on this 12-turn mayhem section known as Sonoma Raceway. Let's get down to business here. Let's get to the track lineup here tonight. On the pole from qualifying, David Lamaga will be the number 1 qualifier, and the 34 is outside. That'll be the 61, Keith Fonseca. Row number 2, it's Anthony Garland, and the 81 is outside. Johnny Barker, the number 6. Row number 3 sees Rob Lowe, and the 21 is outside. Robert Tuiscu, he'll be piloting the number 28. Row number 4 is going to be Joshua Ben, and the 69 is outside. That'll be the 84, Wayne Garland. Row number 5, Josh Bromfield, and the 12 is outside. John Humphrey, and the number 4. Row number 6, Wayne Dewey, and the 11 is outside. That's Greg Drace, and the number 64. Your final starters here tonight. All the way from the UK, baby. It's the 66. That is Stephen Parker Hamilton, and the final starter, Joshua Hale, and the number 20. field getting ready to go out of here. 14 of the best and the brightest drivers, with some of them bringing out some old school throwback schemes. I'm already spying some Rusty Wallace and Mark Martin down there. More on those in a minute as well. And I did notice up front we got a little Neil Bonnet scheme going on there. A little love for our boy Neil. Oh, I love a good Neil Bonnet scheme, and I love me a good Mark Martin scheme. Got a lot of respect for Rusty Wallace and his stuff. He definitely made it look good out there. I'm trying to even figure out what on earth that number 12 of Joshua Bromfield came up with on this one. I don't ever in my namesake remember a throwback scheme like that, but that is certainly something. That may be on the #1 list here. Let's keep an eye on these things here. A little Air Force afterburner style there. The number 20, Joshua Hale. A few of the other guys here kind of doing their own stuff, doing their own thing. Now, I will say one thing up front. I believe we may be having a little bit of a trouble with trading paints. It looks like some of these guys were not able to get their schemes up the way they know, because I know if you went on social media platforms and you've seen actually from the Joe Six Pack podcast, Greg Drace has a different kind of looking scheme here. It's more of a Kmart style scheme, but unfortunately, it has the Joe Six Pack podcast stuff on there. So, not really sure what's going on there or why that is, but well, I don't think that'll affect his driving style any more than it'll affect just kind of the look of it. But off the corners here of turn 11, they'll shoot it down through turn number 12. You see now, and set the tone and set the stage here. To the green flag we go. It's off and running for Joe Six Pack Racing. We'll set him down turn 1 here out of the gate as they wind him up off the top of the hill into the bankments. David Lamaga has the early advantage, the early start, as a 61 and Keith Fonseca tries to come back at him quickly and catch up to him immediately out of the gate. Inside corner number 2 here, lying through the rolling hill up to the top of the mountain, as I like to refer to it as. And that's a downhill slope into this very tight almost 90 degree turn. Whoa! That even gets the best of drivers here. Wayne Garland gonna realize that all too well. Went way too hard in the corner, lost everything in that corner there, and a little bumping and banging down there. Says the 4 Humphrey around. John Humphrey gets sent for the shadow realm this time, and he cannot get that thing settled back down. Just spun around there by Drace and Dewey. Had nowhere to go as David Lamaga has the early lead. Lining him back down across the stretches of the turn into this very sharp, degreed turn 11. There is no bankings here to help you out of that turn. You better be knowing how to hit it hard and hit it cornered well. Turn 11, definitely we're going to see a lot of the action kind of piling up when these guys get awfully close to one another. Now you're probably wondering at home, well, why is that? Well, have you ever watched Martinsville? Yeah, imagine that turn. Just instead of 2 of them, you only got 1. That's pretty much what that turn is like. That's the best way I can explain it. It's not exactly the best turn to get around to, and it's definitely one of the toughest turns to deal with when you're all said and done. Coming down the corners here once again now, David Lamaga still with your race lead. He maintains distance, maintains control as Anthony Garland tries to get up there with him. Him and Keith Fonseca both trying to hammer down, trying to get something going here to these very tight, elusive corners as you go through slippery slopes here and that slithering snake turns, S-turns if you will. They call them the S-turns because the way you kind of go into those turns, the way you smooth it around, that is actually kind of divisive of an S-style turn bankment. Tests even the best of drivers and tests even the strongest of drivers when it comes down to it. Remember, 45 laps to the distance here, so drivers are going to be very patient on conserving and really figuring out their fuel runs. We'll talk more about that in a little while. But just so you know here tonight, obviously we are going for a throwback scheme kind of night. Now, with these throwback schemes, there is one objective I'm going to say right now, is that somebody is going to win a cold hard $10 for the best throwback scheme of the night. But which one will it be? I've only spotted a few of them out there. One, obviously, this is the Mark Martin scheme there, the old Winn-Dixie number 60 machine. Now it's kind of translated into the 21. And then, yeah, old Rusty Wallace's Miller Genuine Draft number 2 design, now put with the number 28. That being Robert Tuiscu III. Ran a lot of hard racing, a lot of great days with that car and that kind of running momentum here. The Wallace family very highly regarded in the racing community and the racing world, but unfortunately for Rusty, he could not find himself in the proverbial season championship standings all often, but he sure knew how to find victory lane quite well. A little trouble there down there for Wayne Garland, as he is all over the place trying to recenter and re-stretch. Trouble going through those corners there. Looks like he might have had some problems staying out of under control and staying more in the rhythm and the line. You can just see how much speed they carry through those corners, though, man. They're driving so hard down that straight that when they back down those brakes, again, these brakes, they are very hard on the surface with the car because, again, they have got a bigger tire on them, so their braking works quite well if you can time it just right and you can set the car up for it. But the one thing that definitely sets them apart, though, is also the fact that they're having to work around the added pressure of this car being kind of a slippery track, simply kind of car to get around this place. These things are still a little bit underdeveloped, in my opinion, so we don't know the full potential of what they'll bring to the table. But we do know one thing from driver accounts is that they are very hard to handle and in many ways very tough to race. Or I shouldn't say race, I would say drive. Racing and driving are two completely different things. That's why we always said you could be a driver, but you can be fast. A driver mentality-wise, obviously, it means you can really hang with the best and you can actually take them on time and time again, like you see right now with David Umaga. By the way, going into tonight, ladies and gentlemen, really has had a field day and a half on the circuit. 25 points up right now on the leaderboards. Right now, looking very solid today. And that Neil Bonner number 34 just schemed up country time lemonades machine. Now, of course, also, if you kind of already figured it out, we do have to pick the driver and the winner of this one here tonight. It looks like we have a little bit of trouble down there for Wayne Dewey and Joshua Hale here. A little problem down there, major malfunction, unfortunately, getting into a bit of a wreck here. No caution will come out here in this case, but let's take a look at the PTM instant replay. See what happened here. Unfortunately, looks like the 11 may have found himself in the wrong place, the wrong time yet again. You can see the 11 kind of sliding his way through the corners, just trying to maintain distance of gravity there, but unfortunately, same can't be said for the number 20. That being Josh Hale, I believe. Yep, that was Joshua Hale, unfortunately, getting into the little slip and slide slope there. Got a camera on him there from that. Let's take a look at the PTM replay from that angle. And looks like just kind of coming around that corner of that entry there. Oh! You can see just hit the sand just the slightest bit, and that's all it took to end up costing him precious time and precious momentum. That's something you do not want to see around here, and I think another thing you don't want to see around here is that damaged up, beat up number 21. Holy smokes, what the heck happened to the front hood of that thing? Now, I'll say this. They can definitely run the car without a hood there, but Rob Lowell is going to be struggling a little harder just to keep the momentum up and keep the momentum alive. Looked like he might have gone off track a little earlier on and smack dab into the wall protection, for what I'm being told. If he did, that cost him a lot of time and a lot of control here, so he's going to have to really work his way back up to fight it with the best of them. Looking at our top spots here tonight, John Humphrey tonight needs a good field day, needs a good position to keep up there with Lomaga, because again, he is currently 25 back. Meanwhile, one that is currently behind him that's doing pretty good for himself here in the 4th place spot, the number 12, that's Josh Bromfield here. Currently, he's at 372 in the points race with about 28 points. So a big run here and a chance at glory would really make a difference for him, but he's going to have to deal with one of the European toughest guys right now from the UK. Stephen Parker Hamilton now sneaking his way around the track, looking to maybe put up a fight. Hamilton not having the best season, unfortunately, had a bit of a rough go around, but Bromfield is eyeing not to get himself into trouble, and Parker going to make it pay for that. Anthony Garland currently with 371, and then Keith Fonseca at 349. Robert Suiski with 340. Gregory Drace 330. Johnny Parker 321. Rounding out your field in the points day. at this very moment. So a bit of a head scratcher here, a bit of a kind of interesting situation here to kind of see the drivers where they're at in positions and where they're at right now on the track. Definitely makes up quite a bit of ways and makes up quite a bit of a change up here too. Anthony Garland right now on the right side makes a nice move around Josh Bromfield. Bromfield was battling with him for just a slight bit there, but could not hold him back. Meanwhile, Keith Fonseca trying to hold back Robert Suisco's speed and run here. Fonseca just drives that thing right into the ground. He's carrying speed, but I don't know if he's necessarily holding on to that. It'll be interesting to see if he keeps doing that for the long term or the long haul. That was a very wild moment there, but seems like car is not hurt by any means and seems like it's still doing pretty good for itself here. Of course, tonight this is the Gold State Throwback 45, but we're gonna know this one tonight as the Old School Sunday, the Old School Throwback Sunday out of Sonoma, because why not? Again, driving on Sonoma Raceway here, you can see the track map here, up on our circuit here. The weather holding up pretty decently as well. Currently, we came in here to tonight with the weather at about 72 degrees here, and the old temperatures of California. Nice little weather position or two. Nothing too major, nothing too serious. All nice and comfy and controlling. Perfect day for some racing. And racing we shall do. Here we go, back in the pack here. Looks like Johnny Barker going to have a little bit of a fine time here trying to deal with Joshua Benton, the number 69 driver last night. Last time he was out here, put up a great fight and a great showcase down in Talladega. Said he wanted to do it again if he at all possible. The only way to do that though was to pretty much outpace and outmaneuver even the best of drivers. And he says he knows that the those Aces racing guys will do whatever it takes to do what they need to do to win, but he'll do whatever he needs to take to put everyone down the rabbit hole, if you will. Wayne Garland here right now in trouble, being followed back even further through the facts here. He's going to possibly go down a lap here. Fuel wise tonight, 60% as usual, 100% on the engine power. Now there are only 3 max tire sets, so you could probably do about 15 laps each on the oh boy, before you really want to start thinking about heading into pit road. But again, some of them may try to slow down a little bit, make them last longer out here. But how hard these guys are running right now, I don't even think they're even thinking about that. The Sonoma setup is what they are using as well, so be very well aware of that. All about hard racing, hard cornering, of course, and keeping the distance and keeping your chances alive here. Keith Fonseca in the 61 trying to catch up there with David Lomaga. Let's go on board here with David Lomaga. Just give you guys a good idea of how hard he's been running this thing into the ground all day today. He's been pushing so many limits here out on the track and pushing so many things to its fullest. See, just pure consistency, pure control under that wheel. He's not trying to overdo anything, not trying to get too ahead of himself. Just kind of easing in, easy out. He knows his distances can be achieved by simply just keeping the car online, and that's the key to victory for him. Is just keeping the car online and not worrying about what everyone else is doing. Maybe like guys like Stephen Parker are able to. Right now looking to possibly take aim and take shape here. He's up 10 spots to hard charger of the night. And that is a major move around for him and the crew. He knows that is exactly what he wants to see, and that's exactly what he needs to see in order to keep his chances and his hopes alive here. The 66 Monster Energy Beast trying to stay up there with the crew, and maybe somehow, some way, maybe can close the gap on Tuisku and Fonseca. He's actually doing a pretty good job of that every corner and every spot. And actually, right now, if you want to look at times-wise, here's a look at it here. Take a look at this. Only one lap did Parker Hamilton not gain anything on Tuisku. That time, look at that, full second on Tuisku. He is jamming the throttle and nailing it for everything he's got, and I think Tuisku is keeping a very, very close eye on that. Maybe only about 8 seconds ahead, but we all know on a road course that means absolutely nothing if you cannot hold that car online or you spin the slightest bit and make too many mistakes. Road course racing is all about timing and precision and integral. It is extremely important to stay under control, stay within the realms of possibility, and stay within the realms of your own racing moments. This is the historic Cup Series track as well. If you are wondering at home what track we're running, what track or what kind of course are we running on for Sonoma at this time, there are multiple versions of multiple series, so just be kind of aware of that and be kind of understanding of that as well. So as the field continues to pace their way around and everyone kind of pushing themselves into their full maximum potentials here, things will keep going and keep progressing on. Can Tuisku catch Fonseca though? Fonseca trying to hang on, trying to keep him in play, trying to keep him at bay there. You can see though, it is Tuisku that has a runoff coming on to his rear end. Maybe testing him a little bit, maybe making sure that he's keeping him honest down there. Remember, these cars, well, they can sure take a bumper or two. You can't use those front and rear bumpers, I will say that much. They do handle it all right if you do it right. Not necessarily the same way a super late model would or any of the other late models would. I would even say the street stocks can take a little bit more, but these cars, they can't take punishment. They can take abuse. So you never know. If you want to try to make a move off, though, you better keep away from him. Tuisku will try to find an opening, trying to find a line on him, trying to see if maybe there's something he could do with himself and do with this corner. He's been hard on the gas and hard on the momentum all day long, but again, there is still so much at work and so much at stake that these guys must keep very, very well aware of and keep tabs on, because you never can be too sure when someone just gets a little too off center and a little too off the ground. And next thing you know, everything just goes to waste, and all that hard work you put in, well, you could kiss that goodbye at that point. Tuisku's still trying to gain up on him, trying to make some kind of movement or two off of that, off those corners and off those runs. Has yet to give him any opportunity, any chances to give out. It's been pretty much deal the hand and deal what you can do. Nothing else but that. Meanwhile, back in the field as well here, in the field of play. A little bit of a game plan here going on right now as the number 6. Johnny Barker gets a little bit of a position gain off of Joshua Benton. Benton was hanging on there, but Barker managed to find a way around him finally and take over position. Barker now trying to gain a little more of a gap. You can see the distances really start to take aim and take shape as you see the rest of the field really separate out by really a big margin of error here. John Humphrey, unfortunately, other than his issues have been just all over the place tonight. Greg Drace, been a little bit more conservative, trying to stay out of trouble, if you will, but that hasn't exactly given him the best results if you need be. Maybe just trying to stay focused on getting through this one clean as a whistle and not aiming to get himself in trouble. Very admirable in that case, but I think he knows this at this moment he needs to start looking further behind the well and further in to the abyss of speed, because there is a lot of charging and a lot of running that they've got to do down there if they want to win it out. Back up front right now, we'll focus in on a little bit of a battle here. We got two battles going on to be exact. Josh Bromfield and Anthony Garland going at it. Keith Fonseca and Robert Suiscu still mano a mano here. Neither driver trying to give an inch, and neither one wanting to give anything out to the other. Really based on pit rate, based on their strategies and their runs alone. But again, the fuel lines and the reserves on those tires can only go so far before eventually you're gonna have to admit defeat. And when you do, well, really, what do you do from there? I'd say the only thing you can do is just hope and pray and stay focused on the target at hand. Because at that point, you're kind of finding yourself in between a rock and a hard place. A little bit of a move off here. Anthony Garland making a big move there. Nicely done. Sneaks his way on the left side, on the right side, excuse me, making a big charge off. And now Bromfield once again loses another position. And unfortunately, though, for Garland, I think those Glitch Graphic Gremlins are still trying to claim their fame, and they're trying to take everything in between. Mounting their way down across the track now. Look at this. Robert Suiscu in the 28 still coming off quick. Trying to get a move off here on Keith Fonseca. Fonseca trying to hang on here. I'm still having a hard time figuring out what kind of paint scheme, honestly, these throwback supplies have been to choose. Oh, but I think someone might have a little trouble figuring out which side to go. Keith Fonseca straight into the shadow realm of the sandy desert at the 61. Now has to try to find a way to get that speed back and get back up to Tuiscu. Tuiscu just found a huge gap and an opening that only a thief of the night would love to have, and he steals one right off of him. What an impressive move there by Tuiscu to take over and take shape. Fonseca, sadly though, he's going to lose a lot of time and a lot of speed just from that opening alone. It seems like on that corner down there from turn 4 and 5, we saw that long straightaway make the biggest difference, and it just did it again. Bromfield lost his spot to Anthony Garland, and then you saw Fonseca lose his spot to Tuiscu. Meanwhile, just all about in the lonely day of the sandy desert of Sonoma, there lies a 34 of Dave LaMarca just kind of peeking his way around the track. And I ain't gonna lie, I'm kind of going back and forth between his and the Mark Martin scheme. When it comes to who's gonna win that $10, I'm still thinking it over my head. I might have to flip a coin, or heck, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to ask you guys in the comments section. You guys seem to help me out better with that than anything. So If you are watching here on PTM Race TV YouTube channel wise, please like and subscribe here, of course, and share this one on around. We really appreciate the support. If we get this channel to grow as big as anything, help grow us where we are with the Facebook end as well, we certainly would appreciate it. Certainly can hope to keep delivering some content and find new ways to bring you the best of contents. Without you guys, it couldn't be possible. Mike Killenbeck saying, love it, Thief in the Night. I'm glad you like that one, Mike. That's kind of an old one, to be honest with you. I've used that one a few times. I just don't use it too often. I did with the start when I started broadcasting, honestly. Let's look at the start of this race here. Stephen Parker Hamilton, man, he is way off pace and lost a lot of ground. Remember earlier on, he was in top 10 position. He was up in the top 5, top 4. He was mounting the speed and mounting the runs, but did he overdo it? Did he kind of run off too quick and realize he probably went a little too far? That remains to be seen, but understand this though. He actually went into pit road on lap 17, came back out of lap 18, trying to get a fresh set of tires and a fresh squeeze of gas out there. As Johnny Barker unfortunately finds out the hard way how hard this track can be on yourself and others. Let's take a look at the PTMS replay and discover more about this one. Looks like he just overshot that old turn 11. Here it is again. Watch this coming out of turn 11. Remember what I said earlier about this being kind of a Martinsville style-esque kind of turn? Well, that explains kind of why I think that. You can see literally coming off that corner, he could not get the car to stay underneath him and end up spinning the rear tires out. He had no grip and all speed. And when you don't have no grip and all speed, that doesn't exactly get you very far in these parts. Tough wreck there for him and the crew. Unfortunately, that's going to slow him down a little bit more than I think he would like to in this case. We'll see if that continues to haunt him and continues to battle him out. But race fans, do not go anywhere. We're just about the halfway point. When we come back, there is more action to be seen. There is more hard racing to be had. Will pit strategies come into effect and play into the favor of the young guns, or will the veterans and the seasoned leaders continue to maintain dominance and balance across this plains? Find out when we return. Well, tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, is presented in part by our good friends over at the Joe Six-Pack Podcast. Weekly update on league news, standings, previews of upcoming races, also interviews with admins, broadcasters, painters, league owners, social media managers from Sim Racing World. The Joe Six-Pack Podcast is where you get all of that and then some. So back to the action right now here down at Sonoma Raceway here in Sonoma, California. Beautiful skies here. Obviously, the clouds kind of rolling in. There ain't no rain to worry about though, folks. Trust me, I checked the weather forecast. I promise you we're not anticipating a sudden storm here. No, that would be usual Iowa weather. One day it could be sunny and beautiful. The next day it could be snowing outside for all I know. Johnny Barker right now, the number 6 Toyota Camry, putting his rowdy energy machine in play and in field position. Been doing a great job hammering down on the track and really maintaining some grip and some distance here, but he still has some work to do to get back up there with the field. Josh Bromfield is the one he's hunting down there with about a 13-second gap. And Bromfield there, I believe he's driving the Grateful Dead number 12. I believe that's what it says on the front. Producer, give me a camera angle on that one. Thank you. That does say Grateful Dead on it. It's kind of got a little, I guess if you want, I guess a little throwback to the 80s. So does it technically count as a throwback scheme? You let me know in the comment section down below. Does that technically count? It's an awesome looking design, I'll say that much. I don't know if I would throw that in there with throwbacks unless it has like some kind of meaning down there. And I think some kind of meaning as well here will for Bromfield be a little revenge and a little vengeance back at old Garland here. Anthony Garland comes into a little tricky scenario. He loses it in the corner and lost it, unfortunately sending him in to the sandbox, if you will. And that's one place you don't want to go, is the sand pits of Sonoma. Watch this. Hard cornering, and you can see once the car got off the ground, it got a little too loose, ends up in the sand over there. Well, this could have been bad. Whoo-hoo. That's when you pucker up and you hope for the best. That's all I'm going to say. And that was your PTM replay brought to you in part by tonight, of course, by our friends from Joe Sixpack Racing Podcast. The Old School Sunday Throwback Sunday. Old School Throwback Sunday, excuse me. Here for the Golden State 45 here tonight. Absolute wild card of a race, and a bit of a wild one at that, to say the least here. Drivers coming from all ends and all directions, trying to outpace and outmatch the other. A little heavy racing in between, a lot of great moments in the round of the track here. It's been some good motions and good control from these drivers, but again, we'll see how well they continue to hold down and hold the throttle in. As you see, Bromfield now having to deal with Garland once again. Bromfield over accelerating there. He got really loose there. Garland saw an opening, couldn't quite take it just yet for himself. Got one on board now. It's NMM or New Mission Motorsports. They're rooting on for Keith tonight. They're saying go Keith in the comments section down below. They're rooting on for that 61 right here. There he is now. You see him running it hard, running it clean off. He's battled up for second place earlier, but remember, he lost it in the turns and got himself a little too out of shape and out of place. Didn't say it was out of sight and out of mind, though. I think Tuisku's got him beat on that end. Just completely unalterated, unpenetratable dominance here when it comes to how well the car has been able to work his way in. But Tuisku is still a good 6 seconds plus back of David Lumaga. And if we're looking at the lap times right now, Lumaga has pretty much had his number on most laps. Some of them have been kind of faltering more on the lines for Tuisku. And especially if we're going to make corners like that there, that certainly can give you a little bit of hope and leeway that you can get a runoff on him soon enough. 22 laps remain now. Lumaga's going to have to keep up the distance, keep up the control of the car and the rhythm. On road courses, it's all about timing. It's all about rhythm. The same way you want to run a short track. You don't want to find yourself in the wrong place at the wrong time. You just want to keep yourself a nice consistent balance, a consistent pace, and find each corner off as hard as you can, corner off as well as you can in order to maintain distance. Now, the reason why I bring that up with short track racing, well, number one, that's what these cars are designed for, is road courses and short track racing. And number two, if you really think about it, it's kind of the same outlook, same ideals. You're pretty much trying to hit the same mark each time without someone kind of coming in and intervening to ruin your race. But then it flies also the added issue of running into lap traffic or running into the old problems that short tracks kind of have on the circuits, whereas road courses not necessarily don't, but they can definitely evolve into that. Mike Killenby saying Lumaga got this. Yeah, he's if he don't got something right now, I don't know how the heck he's even running tonight, man. He has been blistering fast. Now, I know Wayne Dewey is not running a throwback scheme because I've seen that scheme plenty of times here already. I may not know these guys too well, but I do know at least that scheme is his own personal scheme as he lets the 28 of Robert Tuisku around him there in the corner. Look up front, though, here. It looks like a little bit of a battle back for Keith Fonseca as David Lumaga finally puts it into the pit road section, if you will. Fonseca and Tuisku trying to gain some speed back up there. Stephen Parker Hamilton right behind the old Fonseca, though. Fonseca is a little bit in trouble here. He knows he could be getting his goose cooked in a minute if he's not careful. Speed and power are going to be extremely essential here off these corners. Can they get the grip and get the runoff? Stephen Parker Hamilton not able to do it just yet. And oh yeah, by the way, David's already out of pit road, by the way. That's just ridiculous. He's got so much distance, so much speed on these guys. It's ridiculous how quick he is and how much gain he's gotten on them. No one's been able to even catch him. He's almost like a human slap chop out there. He just pretty much chops every corner off like it's nothing. It's like so smooth, he just lets it go right in and just let the car do his work. It's almost like he's got this thing on a Tesla autopilot. Is he even actually working that wheel anymore? Well, I'm seeing his hands moving, so I can't say that anyway. Yeah, he's pretty much hitting his spots every which way to Sunday. That's all I need to know. Uh-oh, looky here, though. Looks like we're going to have a little bit of lap traffic. Be a bit of a factor here. Wayne Dewey in the way of Keith Fonseca and Stephen Parker Hamilton. Hamilton right now looking for an opening, a runoff on Fonseca. Fonseca's going to drive in real tight here, though. Trying to hang on. Hamilton going to be in a little trouble. No, slightly there. Dewey backs off. Lets him get back on the throttle, though. He knows it's his way or the highway and lets him be his own man, gives him his gain. Alright, I'm going to ask real quick. Fonseca, is that Care Bears on your helmet, dude? I don't think I've ever seen a Care Bear design on that one. That's yeah, don't get me wrong, not bad by any means, but that's just something different. Looks like a lot of problems down there for Greg Drace here. Let's take a look at the PTM instant replay as we got about 20 laps remaining. Let's see what happened here. Looks like turn 11 once again is going to be the turn that gives a little bit of problem zone here for this for the number 64. Came in a little too hot, had to pretty much dive it in and stop it on a dime. Whoa, now he's all over the place. He's in the grassy plains here. Just about ready to cut back in here there. We just caught this right on our camera angle here. Watch this, just overshoots the turn. Goes into the grassy plains and has nowhere to go other than just open up his own lawn care service. So wait a minute, this is a sand pit. What would we call that? What do we call that? Construction area or something? I don't think I can call that a lawn care service anymore. That's gotta be something kind of else I got trademarked. Sonia Fonseca saying, yes, it's Care Bears. That's awesome. Sonia, thank you for tuning on in there as well. Hey, I'll give credit where credit's due. At least you got some creativity and style out there. You don't see too many of those. You don't see too many of those kind of unique or weird, wacky schemes out there, or those kind of old childhood memories we have around here. Speaking of childhood memories and all that, if you guys want to check something out here that's going to be very important to our children and to some families out there tonight, the Toys for Tots charity race presented by Lone Star Racing is going to be live and on the Hi-Fi with the Facebook streaming here. You'll see that as well as Pedal the Metal Racing League beforehand. So if you haven't already, head down and like and follow up there. If you do not want to watch on Facebook and you want to say, hey, wait a minute, I want to still watch that race, but I don't have Facebook. Can I still see it here on YouTube? Yes, you can. I promise you that, my friends. We will have it all covered and live. Live coverage will be on Facebook. Replay will be sent over to YouTube following the race. So do not worry your heads off. We will have that here in its entirety when all is said and done. Hamilton using a pit strategy to his advantage and using everything he can on Fonseca. Just can't find a way to pass him, though. 18 laps remain here, though, for De La Maga. And if I'm being honest with you guys, honestly, if I'm going to pick a throwback scheme winner for the night, I know I've always said I try not to vote the driver that won the race with the throwback scheme of the night, but I can't. We've lost. It's been quite some years since we've lost Neil Bonnet, honestly, and I feel like I have not given enough credit to our lemonade stand boys. So I think we may need to give the shout out here. I think I'm gonna go with David Lamaga as the throwback scheme winner of the night. So he has earned my vote and he has earned my choice. Although if we ever do this again, I can promise you I will keep that in mind and probably not choose him for the next one. So you get this one, David, but the next one, good luck there. So continuing the pace around, Johnny Barker trying to hang in there, trying to hang off any kind of distance, any kind of chance he's got here. Again, these cars struggling to keep up distance, keep maintaining balance here. There's so many track ends and so many ways to get kind of off center and out of off pace that it really is kind of hard to figure out how you want to get back into the run and back into the control zone. For guys like the 84 though, unfortunately, I think he's just kind of aware of his situation. He's just letting guys go behind him and bow around him. Wayne Garland does not want to get in anybody's way or anybody's trouble zone here. Good on him for doing that, but I guarantee you, he's a little bit upset of himself and a little frustrated with the way the track went down for the night. The onboard camera here right now for Stephen Parker Hamilton here as he continues to maintain the grip and maintain the distance. You can see he's traveling quick. He's traveling fast. Monteska is not exactly running away from this field here. His field of vision has been pretty clear and pretty observant. Get that 61 and knock him down a few pegs. Oh, and that little bobble there may have ended up doing a little bit more than I think he realizes. And Greg Drace even major trouble down there for the 64 scheme. The Joe Sixpack Racing League machine having major problems and a malfunction through the corners. We'll take a look at the PTM instant replay here. Try to swing it in wide, but again, he just kind of overswung it. Car did not have any runoff and couldn't get it to settle back down. End up causing that circumstance there in that trouble spot. That was your PTM Instant Replay brought to you by Joe Sixpack Podcast. The balance and traction being put to their absolute limits, especially in those braking corners, those high hits, high corner turns. Those are what really can make or shape or break a driver, no matter how you look at it from any angle, any which way to Sunday. And they have been really rubbing the rubber down on the track and just shredding up so much. I think if I'm going to be dead honest with you, they really have been going for a halfway kind of run where they'll do halfway in, halfway out. They don't want to make themselves get into more trouble than they need to be. They want to stay more under control and more on the rhythm end of it. Botskaska still hanging on over Stephen Parker Hamilton. Josh Bromfield, remember earlier on, he was fighting it out with the 81 of Anthony Garland, but Garland's pit strategy may have got the better of him, and as well as of his control of the track. And laps may not seem like much, but believe me, with only 45 on this track, they tend to wind down quick and they tend to wind down fast. Especially when you don't even know how quick things can change on a dime. Stephen Parker Hamilton now having to head back into pit road. His fuel strategy going to be put into question and put down amongst himself in the track. He could not get it to last the way he wanted to, unfortunately. David Lomanga still with the race lead. Pretty much locked this one up. And remember, points day wise, he's led the laps. He's led the field. He has not lost any position. So no one's going to get any extra bonus points here from leading laps or any points from being able to finish with a fast lap or hard charger, because really Lomanga, I hate saying this, but he just completely took everything tonight. Except for one thing though, the best lap actually did not go to him by about I'd say by about 4,500ths of a second. There was a difference between Robert Suiscu and David Lomanga. The difference being actually about 2,700ths of a second, excuse me. Suiscu managed to actually do out Lomanga on one of his laps there. So fastest lap wise, Suiscu at least has one bonus point, one opening there. to use to his advantage and use against everyone else. And sometimes that bonus point can be a big difference and a big heavy maker here. But again, you need laps led, you need a field day with how you've understood each other and how you've understood the track out here, and that's not exactly what he's getting here. Take a look back at our pit strategy here tonight. Let's take a look at this here real quick. You can see right here where everyone's been in pit road, the laps they ran before they finally just said, okay, we gotta go in. The most laps ran was 24, set by David Lomaga. Whoa, there's a little bit of trouble down there for the Ford John Humphrey. He's going to swing it way wide and open the door for a few guys, Johnny Barker being one of them in the number 6. But you can see distance right now traveled and how far they've gone, the distance and the way. The only one that has gone into pit road twice plus has been Parker Hamilton. He was the only one out of this field so far. Garland's been trying to stay under control. Tuwiska has been very conservative and very under key. But Lomaga, I think really if anything, he's just been playing these guys like a fiddle. Oh, maybe a little bit more though for Wayne Dewey. Has to avoid trouble and stay out of trouble mag zone. He avoids the number 6, but only slightly. Dewey got way hard in that corner, and again, I think that really just boils down to the inexperience of these cars and the inexperience of dealing with this kind of a track layout. You gotta remember, this is a track that, you know, has been a part of racing history and been a part of series ends to no meets, but it has also been one of the toughest tracks to lay down a good run on and lay down a solid finish at, no matter who you are and where you come from. There have been some memorable moments here as well, maybe a few memorable revenge moments. I think I know one all too well with Brian Vickers and Tony Stewart. Don't believe me? Look up EMP Lemon on YouTube and just look up or just look on Facebook, or just type in on the search tab there the art of revenge in NASCAR. Believe me, it's actually a really fun little watch and a fun little thing to kind of see like some of the best times the driver got even with somebody out there. Eleven laps remain now here. Lomaga still absolutely just tearing it up. And again, you know, we're looking at the manufacturers wise, the Fords have been pretty much the top spots throughout this field. You gotta wonder, is a little bit of that built on the fact that it has a slight advantage over the aerodynamics of the car and how it can hit around the corners versus how the Camaros have been. Now granted, we gotta be honest with ourselves, the Camaros have also been pretty much dead heat, deadlocked in the top 5 all day long, with only a slight time or two where the Fords and the Camrys, the Toyotas actually managed to get ahead of them in position and in charge. Hasn't happened too often, but it has happened indeed. Time running out here and time giving out. Unfortunately, nowhere to go and nowhere to hide. Chances are you're pretty much find yourself in the wrong place at the wrong time if you're not up there with the field. Oh, look at here. I was talking earlier about that little revenge artist thing. I did not say for Humphrey though. Oh my, I don't think that was out of revenge though from anyone. I think that was just unfortunately a bad move there. We'll take a look at it to find out. Looks like he got stuck into the tire tractor on the tires there. This is just the added struggle you deal with as a driver, is just trying to keep yourself calm, cool, and under collected, but also just really trying to avoid this here. Overdrove it really hard there, ended up smack dab into the tires. Had to straighten it back out and get it back underway. And again, that was because the brakes locked up on him and lost all control in a matter of an instant. And even now Anthony Garland here, major trouble there for Anthony Garland. Shreds it out, a big wreck for the 81. 81's got damage there on the left side. Looks like maybe may have found him in the wrong place at the wrong sequence of the turn. He's had damage earlier from a little malfunction he had there, I believe, kind of clipping into one of the other drivers, and he smacked dab into the wall. I could not see where that happened at, and the producers aren't helping me, but we do know where this happened. Oh, and slightest damage actually, con point there, as Hamilton managing to just get a piece of him. Unfortunately, though, for the 81, lost a lot of time, and now has to find himself on the chopping block and on the totem pole with this one. UK base driver still waiting for these guys to head back into pit road and give him a fair shake at possibly knocking him off the totem pole, but unfortunately, the way we're looking at right now, David Lamaga and Robert Suiscu, they've just been completely nullifying strategy and the way they've been hanging on the fuel line. They've been dead set and dead focused on keeping control and consistency, and that's exactly what they've been up to here. Even Stephen Parker Hamilton have a little problem there. He spins out slightly and gives a little bit of an opening there for Anthony Garland to catch back up, but a 14-second gap helps kind of close that off real quick. 9 laps remaining here. Some of these cars, man, they are not of this world. They're a little tore up down there, that is for certain. Time running out here, and remember, folks, my voice is gonna be shot by the time this one's over tonight. But we have still 2 races left remaining in this day. And I did not say in this season or this week. I meant today. We still have Pedal to the Metal Racing League presented by GTR Race Simulator down at Phoenix Raceway here tonight. It's gonna be awesome to see the new looking design of Phoenix back out on the track here, and the Cup cars will definitely be put to the absolute test, and then the Cup Series cars will be then thrown in with our good friends over at Lone Star Racing. Not an enduro, mind you, it's an actual race down at Kansas Speedway, and presented in part for the Toys for Tots charity event. Cannot wait to see you guys there, and cannot wait to see what will go down as well. 7 laps remain here for the number 34. Can he just hang on a little longer and stay out of trouble? Robert Suiscu is still eyeing him and trying to make a move off on him or two. Miller, a genuine draft machine, has been pretty much dead set, dead focused on getting back into this field and back into the runoff here. Looking to knock them down a few pegs and knock them down a few eggs here. Wayne Dewey having a little bit more trouble down there as well. I kind of just had a bit of a bad break. Obviously, this has not been the race I think him and his crew were wanting to have. Obviously, they wanted to prove they can run a lot better than this. John Humphrey, much of the same. Great race we've seen earlier as well. He had a lot of issues, unfortunately, finding himself in the wrong place at the wrong time, and he's going to get himself into another problematic zone once again. Just can't get the car to stay in play and stay in bounds, as Anthony Garland will move his way around now. Joshua Benton, oh boy. Oh no, the front end is completely destroyed on that one. That car has seen better days, unfortunately. Car is so beaten bad, I think Matt Crafton is rolling in his grave right now from Martinsville. Sorry, Matt. Appreciate it. Love you, buddy. But, I mean, I'm just looking at the way that thing looks like now. You can't tell me that didn't look like your car back in Martinsville when you did you know what. So coming down to the wire, 5 laps remain when they get to the turn, when they get past turn 12 for the number 34. And at this moment anyway, he is currently 13 seconds gapped ahead of Tuiscu and 18 ahead of Fonseca. Fonseca is pretty much locked into the top 3, so is Tuiscu, and Lomaga is pretty much in that same boat as well. All it really boils down to is just punch in the last punch in time and not worry about the rest. 5 to go for the number 34. Fonseca having to drive it up a little higher there. Looks like he's trying to diamond it off in a way here. There are 2 ways you can run that corner 11, but of course turn 12 I think there's no idea. I think there's no pulling what you do there, but you can definitely on turn 11 really drive it in either close to the corner and hard on the exit, or kind of diamond out and just build the speed up from there. I've done both methods. Honestly, I find more of it just kind of run closer as you can to that entry there, like you see Bromfield do. Kind of work a little bit better. Stephen Parker Hamilton is looking to possibly make a little bit of a showing here at Bromfield. Bromfield knows he's right behind him, and I don't know if he knows he's on the lead lap or not, but Stephen was up here earlier and he had a top 10. He was in 10 spots up in that runoff. Now looking to get that back once again. Whoa, big bobble there by Parker. Overdrove it slightly in the corner there and did not realize it until it was too little too late, but he backed off the throttle in time just in the way of it. Definitely a smart strategy to back down when he needed to and really get back focused up. Well, here the rear end sliding out over so slightly there. But now looking for the charge. He had the run off. Look at that beautiful corner there out of turn 11. Drives it in deep and makes it stick. Bromfield not able to hold him back. It is now Stephen Parker moving up to 4th. Excellent evasive maneuver and evasive action there to take down the number 4 seed there in the 4th place spot. With 4 laps to go too. That's just more icing on the cake here. Still a full 36, 31 seconds and 40 and 50 seconds if you count Lomaga right now, which at this point I don't even think we can really count him in there behind the field. But at the end of the day, I mean, what are you gonna do? If you remember the pit strategy wise, Hamilton was the only driver other than Ben actually that went in 3 times today. He used all 3 sets of tires. Lomaga, Tuiscu, Fonseca only using 2, building in more around the gas mileage as well as their control of the car. Less worried about what would happen later. I think that was really their main focus, their mainstay, and they used it to full extent. Coming down to the wire now. Here they come down into turn number, I believe that is, well, hold on a minute. Producers, give me an angle on that one. Oh, okay. I believe that was turn number, oh, that's turn 9. This is turn 10 coming up, yep. So they were back in turn 7, then into turn 8 there off those hard diamond ends. Turn 8 was where you saw them kind of slipping through the slippery slope there. Here they build it through now. Turn 11 coming up. This is that spot of the turn I told you it was pretty much based on a Martinsville style run. Can you imagine we had bankings as wide as that turn there? Do you see turn 11 on for a Martinsville track? That would be nuts. That's all I gotta say about that for a paperclip style track. 2 laps remain here. The green flag flying high in the air. Lomaga knows this one's all sealed up, wrapped tight, and gift wrapped And Santa came early down in California if he can pull this one off. Tuiska trying to hold on. So is Fonseca. Stephen Parker Hamilton. Maybe looking just to make a little bit of a showing for himself. A little bit of a showing for him and his team. Staying ahead of Bromfield by about 4 seconds here. Drove that thing in way deep, though. He had a lot of power and did not know how to put that thing on the brake rotors. The 6 of Johnny Barker getting out of the way. This just goes to show you as well. These drivers have way too much respect to be messing with each other and messing with around. They are certainly living up to the driver's code. For that, you cannot help but respect them for their commitment and dedication to each other as well as this league. Certainly is impressive and awesome to see just how well these drivers have gone, the distance gone, the levels that they have. And we certainly cannot wait to see the final races coming up. I believe that this one will have 2 remaining in the season. But as we remain to those 2, we go from 2 to 1. White flag is out for the 34 of David Lamarga. And an absolute beatdown, to say the least, on this track. Josh Bromfield found himself in the proverbial run earlier within the Garland. Stephen Parker Hamilton, much of the same, although he found his speed really late. Got it early, then found it later on with the pit strategies. Keith Fonseca had a duel and fight and scratch and claw to stay within the realm of the top 3. Robert Tuiska found a lot of momentum and a lot of run later on. But tonight, in this case anyway, this pretty much belonged to the number 34 Country Time Lemonade Machine. He'll pilot it down across to the straights. Into the final corners. Into turn number 11. And then down. He goes into turn number 12. Final spot, final time around. David Lamarga will take home the victory. And the Old School Throwback Sunday at Sonoma Raceway. Mike Killenby saying solid win teammate, David Lamarga, and then the Pottles coming on board saying good race, congrats, number 34. What an impressive display, an impressive showing here for the 34. Not only does he have the best scheme in the night as I've voted for, but he also wins down here tonight. And the victory couldn't be any more sweet for him and his crew to obviously take home a W and pull off an incredible battle from start to finish. Gotta give credit as well for that commitment down in that car. He actually has the full scheme and everything inside the helmet. There's those victory donuts I was looking for. Burnout time down for the 34. I hope he wonders as well that some of the drivers haven't finished yet. Well, there we go. Now we got our race results. Here it is, race fans. Presented in part by the Joe Sixpack Podcast. Here is your final results. David Lamarga, a solid performance. Big victory for him and his crew. Robert Tuiska, a solid second. Third to Keith Fonseca. Fourth to Stephen Parker Hamilton. A strong showing to the end. Top hard charger of the night. Fifth going to Josh Bromfield. Sixth to Anthony Garland. Seventh to Johnny Barker. Eighth to Joshua Benton. Ninth to John Humphrey. 10th to Wayne Garland. 11th to Wayne Dewey. 12th to Greg Drace. 13th to Rob Lowell. And 14th to Joshua Hale. That rounds out the field. Race fans, when we come back, we're going to talk with our top 3 in the interview box. Do not go away. We will be right back after this quick commercial message. Tonight's race, ladies and gentlemen, has been brought to you in part by our good friends over at the Joe Sixpack Podcast. Weekly update on league news, standings, previews of upcoming races, also interviews with admins, broadcasters, painters, league owners, social media managers from Sim Racing World. The Joe Sixpack Podcast has a little bit of everything for you and your racing fix. Let's take it down now here, race fans. Let's get down to business and talk with the field. Let's start with the winner here tonight. Race fans, he joins me here in victory lane. David Lomaga, congratulations on your victory here tonight, sir. And what an absolute performance for you and your crew. And by the way, I'm going to give you the honor of having the scheme of the night. I got to give a little love to my boy Neil Bonnet for that one, my man.
Nice. Thank you, man. Thank you, Christian. Appreciate it.
For sure there. But speaking of you, man, you pretty much just locked and loaded this thing from start to finish. What was the key thing that just kept you going here tonight, man?
I mean, just qualifying well and not making any mistakes, and Al not being here. Al's always been the fastest, and I think really always being behind him on all these road courses has really kind of helped me get a lot better at them. So, I mean, it was really just a matter of not beating myself, just getting the race started off clean, which it did. I was a little nervous with Humphreys behind me. He was really pushing me there for a few laps. And then, I mean, I don't know what happened to him, but all of a sudden I just looked at the relative and had room, and it was just, all right, start taking it easy, keep the car clean, and don't beat myself,
Well, you didn't beat yourself out. You pretty much stayed steady and consistent throughout the entire race and straight through to the end. Certainly a showing and a race in the making for you and your crew. So I have to ask you, sir, as you got some teammates kind of tuning in here on PTM Racing TV, is there anybody you want to thank here tonight for this finish?
Yeah, I want to thank my wife first and foremost. She's the one who has to deal with me putting the paint schemes together and talking to my teammates about the upcoming race. I want to actually thank special shout out to my dad, because he's the one who suggested doing the Country Time Neil Bonnet paint scheme. And then just a shout out to everyone in the league, everyone who keeps showing up and keeps racing hard every weekend. Without everybody who participates every weekend, this league wouldn't be much of anything. So, big shout out just to everyone, and thank you to you for broadcasting.
I appreciate it coming on board here tonight, David. What a star-studded performance and a great race here tonight, man. Congratulations, and we certainly hope to see more of you in the future, sir.
Thank you very much, Christian.
Ladies and gentlemen, your first place finisher here tonight, David Lomargo, the number 34 Minute Maid Lemonade, the Country Time Lemonade Stand. I want to say Minute Maid Lemonade Stand. I'm doing it injustice to Neil Bond. I'm sorry, Neil. I know he's not listening, but yeah. Well, maybe he is. I don't know. Okay, I'll just get on with it here. Let's talk with our second place finisher here tonight. Usually I see a 2 on that scheme here, but Robert Tuiska, you brought the 28 out and put on a pretty great performance. Congratulations on a second place finish. You had to fight for this one too, man. You had to find your way around Fonseca. He was not giving you any breaks here, man.
No, he wasn't letting me have it easy. He put up a good fight for a while there, and like I always say, road courses, man, it's all patience. You get up behind somebody, you just wait for them to make a mistake, and you make your move. And unfortunately, he made a mistake, and I was able to slide around him.
You certainly did indeed. Had a big opening and a big warm-up get, obviously, for the team and the crew to really give yourself a little bit more momentum leading into these final races of the season. Just tell me, how important was this, race really for you to, not only pull off a tremendous finish, but really keep in mind of what's going to be coming forward here in the next races?
Well, as you saw last week at Talladega, it was a show there. I was, a few points off of, I think, fourth place in standings, and it really put me back. So having a good finish here was real important tonight. Hopefully it puts me back up there.
Certainly does indeed here. Well, nevertheless, Robert, as you are coming away here with the second place finish, I know there's some people you probably want to thank you for this one. Who do you want to thank, sir?
Oh, first and foremost, my wife, my kids, let me do this here every Sunday. Big shout out to my teammate Al there. He couldn't be here with us tonight, but I felt like he was here with me. And then Greg for the league, and you for the broadcast, man. Appreciate it all.
I appreciate coming on board here, man. I think you made every single one of those people proud, and maybe even the one you've run in that scheme on here a little bit more proud as well. Congratulations, sir, and what a race it has been. We certainly hope to see you very, very soon, sir.
Thanks, you too.
Ladies and gentlemen, your second place finisher here tonight, Robert Tuisku, the number 28 in that Rusty Wall scheme design up. Also, a little shout out to Keith Fonseca, the number 61. I do not believe we're going to see him here in the interview booth, but a congratulations to him nevertheless. What a show. What a race it was indeed, race fans. This Golden State 45 had a bit of everything and a lot of hard racing throughout, but the Old School Throwback Sunday had to end somewhere. So thank you again to all of you for tuning on in. Congratulations, David Lamaga, not only winning the Scheme of the Win award, but also the race entirely. Well, I think that's honestly just the best way to celebrate day after Thanksgiving, unless you had some good Black Friday sales, but that's beyond the point. Anyway, race fans, 2 races to go. Pedal to the Metal coming up at 7:45 Eastern, 6:45 Central. Stay tuned for that. And then, finally, stay tuned. The Toys for Tot charity race coming your way live as well. We certainly hope to see you very